Welcome to this technology segment with Cindy Bishop Worldwide. Today is going to be a video short and then I'll focus on a specific task. Today's task will be to create a newsletter and send it out to our contacts in our database using Realty Juggler. I've logged into Realty Juggler, as you can see, and I'm at the main menu or the main home screen with the different tools within Realty Juggler. I'll go down, click on the mail, little @ icon on the bottom left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you'll see the different options related to the mail feature within Realty Juggler. We're going to spend most of our time within preferences, bulk email, and mail forms for this video. We'll start with preferences because this is where you will go to create your signature block for all of the email that you send out through Realty Juggler. You'll have the typical editors for fonts and hyperlinks and things like that to go ahead and create and customize your signature block the way you would like it. Once created, click on the Done button to save everything. We're still under Settings Preferences, as you can see with the top left. So you'll click on the main link, get back to that initial screen, and then go back to Mail. Here, we'll go over to the Mail Forms feature, which is the lower right-hand side. And we'll do that because Mail Forms is really just another word for templates. So this is where you would go to create emails that you use over and over and over again with different folks, whether you use them as they are or you use them and tweak them. Say, for instance, standard communication you might send to your client with offer details or contract details. You could go ahead and create templates for those that you can use and tag them. That way you don't have to actually recreate the email over and over and over again. The other nice thing about using Realty Juggler to send your email is that they employ a beacon technology feature within the email that they send up as a way to bypass some of the read receipt issues created by many of the corporate email systems today. So it makes it a lot easier to know, and it's not 100%, but it's a lot easier to know when folks have actually seen the email that you've sent, so you know that it's gotten through and that they've at least that they're at least aware of it. So clicking on Mail Form, start immediately with a list of, in this particular case, it's based on my show group over the right-hand side. So these are just letters, so they're not part of, or e-cards, they're not part of a drip mail program. So these are just some that I've got in my system. There are a number of tasks available here within Realty Juggler. We're just going to create a new mail form. This will be our new template for our newsletter. So we'll call the description will be, let's see, test newsletter for CBW. And I'll just do an email subject. These can always be tweaked once the actual email is generated before it goes out. But we'll just say, welcome to my newsletter. As you scroll down, you'll see there are a couple placeholders, salutation, and signature. So these are mail merge variables, of which there are many, and you can use them as you need within your email. Luckily, we only need the two for the newsletter. The salutation will be the name that is within the contact or prospect record when the email is generated. And of course, your signature block will come from the actual signature block that you created in the preference section. So what we're going to do here is go into the body where it says letter goes here. And I always recommend a little bit of text. And welcome to my newsletter. I hope you find it informative and will share. I always suggest that because we're going to be sending our newsletter in using graphic files, and in many of the email platforms will initially block those. So instead of the email looking virtually blank at the onset, I do prefer to have some sort of text up at the top, and it can be related to whatever that month is, or even additional information that you want to share, however it is that you handle this each and every month for yourself. I do recommend that. So now that we've got that created, the next step is actually just to go ahead and use our pre-created newsletter. Now, the pre-created newsletter I'm going to use is created by the tool available to real estate agents from Old Republic. Not only do they provide, great home warranty services, but it's a wonderful tool for agents that are just, either not inclined to be able to create their own newsletters or simply don't have the time to do it. They create a very nice 2-page newsletter that you could use for free. And it includes a little bit of customizations with it, which is really nice. Now, it creates a PDF. Most of the newsletters you'll receive will likely be PDF form, but what we want to use is that graphic image, as I mentioned earlier. So rather than click on the attach, your paperclip, which you typically see as an attachment, that will actually include it as a document attachment. Instead, what we want to do is click on the little Mona Lisa image here on the left-hand side, insert an image. We're going to actually attach a new document or new image. We'll click on Browse, go to our computer. I'm going to click on August 2018. It's just, as I mentioned, it's an old file. All right, I'm going to click on Convert to Image. This will actually tell Realty Juggler that I want to use a graphic image file like a JPEG, for instance, or PNG, as opposed to the PDF. Because we're going to be using an image, it will only do one page at a time. So if you do have a multi-page PDF that you want to convert to images for your email that's going out, then you would just have to do this multiple times. So this first run through, we're going to do page 1. I'll click on Upload. All right, I see here that it's loaded the first page of this Old Republic newsletter. Description, August 2018, test newsletter, page 1. Now I'm going to click on the Enable Web Link checkbox simply for me to be able to provide a link to this image and some other communications if I would like, but it's not necessary for this newsletter for what we're doing at this time. So now that I know it's all there, I'm going to click on Return. I've got my description and I can see the image. Realty Juggler is going to ask me if I want to finish attaching the image, and I do. I want to select the image that I just created. As you can see, page 1 is now loaded into the system. So before I add the second page, I want to make sure my cursor is on the next line underneath the image file. So I clicked over to the right. You may even click next to Sincerely and just hit Enter. And then I hit the Enter key, make sure I've got my cursor down below the image file. So I'm going to scroll back to the top, click on the Insert Image. I'll do a new attachment because I want it to be the second page. I'll locate the file on my computer, tell it to convert to image. I'll go down and make sure that it goes to page 2. I'll click on Upload. All right, as I can see, this is the second page. I'll give it a description. Newsletter page 2. Enable the web link. Everything looks good. I'll click on Return. Yes, I would like it to finish attaching the image. I'll select my test page 2. And if I scroll down to the bottom of my email, I'll now see what looks to be seamless page 2 inserted into my newsletter. So now that my newsletter is complete, I'll go ahead and I'll click on Done. And you'll see in this particular case at the very bottom of my list is my test newsletter for Cindy Bishop Worldwide. So now that we've created our template, we want to know how to use it. So we're going to click on Done simply as an exercise. We could also click on the bulk email over on the left-hand side to change features, but clicking on Done gets us back out to the main level in case there was something else you wanted to do, including uploading or making modifications to your signature block before you actually generated the emails using that template. Now that I know everything is okay, I'm going to click on my bulk email tool. Bulk email is going to ask me where I want to send the emails to. In this particular case, I want it to go to all prospects matching my show category that I select. In this case here, I've selected my show category of my Cindy Bishop Worldwide. But you can select any of the categories that you have in your system. Emails to include. I always do all emails and selected records. It's up to you, but I always do all. That way there, if I have both a work email and a personal email, you know, I'm not sure what their practice is or their habits are, but at least I know it'll go out. And if I have emails, you know, say they're partners, you know, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, in the system, and I've got emails for both of them, then both will receive my email, in this case, the newsletter that goes out. So the next thing Realty Juggler is going to ask is where we're going to choose the template from. We're not going to choose standard because this is one that we created. So we're going to go under custom. It's going to reload the library to find the template that's available. I want to scroll down to my test newsletter for Cindy Bishop Worldwide. Okay, now once I've selected that, Realty Juggler, excuse me, Realty Juggler will check my category, and we'll see that out of the 21 records, I only have 3 records with email addresses in there. So they're only going to create 3. Now you'll also see too that they're also going to be scheduled for delivery beginning at 12:21 p.m., which of course I could click on and I could change the date, I can change the time so I do have control over that. Now these are all test records, so I do know that there are 3 email addresses, and I also know that they're not legit. Now you could get a sample email. If you click this, you can actually have the email emailed to you or to an email address that you specify. So you can actually see what the newsletter looks like before you send it out to your database. That's always a nice little touch as a last minute, just to be safe. When you're ready, click OK. You create the email batch. Is it okay to create 3 emails? In this case, I'm going to say yes. Now it's going to say click the mail queue, view mail queue button above to see the emails. All right, so what I want to look at is pending. And so here are my 3 records under pending. Today, welcome to my newsletter. And those are the times that they're scheduled to go out. If I click on one of those, I'll be able to see that in this case here, the person is C, letter C. So dear C, welcome to my newsletter. And then my newsletter is there, and my signature block has automatically been inserted as well. So both of the mail merge variables have now been converted to actual values. Now what this allows me to do, because again it's set for a future day and future time today to be delivered, and these emails are already created, is I can always go back through and tweak these. So if I have, you know, some folks that are perhaps part of a batch that I don't want to receive an email, I can go ahead and delete it so that they don't get it, but meanwhile I've already created it for everybody else. Or if I want to personalize 1 or 2 or so, a handful of emails out of a whole batch, then I have the ability to go through, find each of those individual emails, personalize them as I need to, and then just click on done. And when I finish that, then you'll see that then they'll go ahead and they'll be saved, and then they'll go out as scheduled. Now this is using the bulk email feature. I can just as easily, if I go to prospects, pull up those individuals as an example, because you do need an email address to send a mail to them. If I click on mail, I can see that I do have an email pending, scheduled for 12/25 today. I could also go through this feature again as an individual record, pick who I want to send it to, go down and select custom. If I wanted to send, maybe I've got a new person that I've just added to my database, and I want to make sure that they get a copy of the newsletter that's already been sent out. I can click on that, and you'll see the newsletter has now been loaded. The values are there. I can make any modifications that I want, including a sending time, and then I can hit done. And you'll see now there are two. There's an additional email set up. One was part of the batch that I was sending to the bulk email folks. The other is one that I just sent specifically to them. Now, as you can see, a@b.com is a bogus email address. So if you send it to bogus email addresses, they will bounce back, and the Realty Juggler will actually track those in their opt-out list, so that you know that the email address itself is bad. Now, to check the opt-out list, go back to the main level, at least a level where you can see the menu options on the left-hand side. Click on mail. And then once it's loaded, there's an email opt-out. When you click email opt-outs, you'll see there's a whole bunch of, either folks have opted out of the emails, or they're hard bounces because they're no longer valid email addresses. So it's a great feature. Each of your emails, when you do send to Realty Juggler, will include the option for folks to opt out. That prevents you from violating any spam laws for sending out emails to folks that won't accept them. And if you do use, say, Realty Juggler in combination with MailChimp, then actually both of those systems, you can synchronize the email opt-out lists between the two systems just to keep yourself out of trouble. Well, for a video short, it still took a long time, but it's a lot of information. Hopefully you find it helpful. There's always a lot more that you can find either working with me at Cindy Bishop Worldwide or through the Agent Education Center. Good luck with your newsletters, and I hope you are able to grow your business.